Hi everyone, this is Jason from Metal Flesh. Today I will rank the entire Judas Priest discography from Get in the Bin all the way up to From Here to Eternity. From its release I will pick up two highlight songs. I will try to stay away from the obvious hit songs. Right, we're gonna kick things off with the Judas Priest debut album called Rockarola. Came out in 1974. This one sounds very different from the Judas Priest everybody knows. The album mixes blues rock, progressive rock, and proto metal. The songwriting is still developing. The production is thin, weak. Something that actual members of Judas Priest still criticize to this day. This album is, as stated, more bluesy, more progressive than later Judas Priest albums. Highlight songs for me will be Never Satisfied and One for the Road. Unfortunately, this one ranks quite low in my list. I'm just going to put it down on a D tier. 1976, we see Sad Wings of Destiny, the album where Judas Priest truly found their identity. The songwriting became more ambitious. Rob Halford's incredible voice took center stage. We've got a twin guitar attack that became one of the band's trademarks. For me, this album from start to finish is absolutely amazing. It's a heavy metal classic. No fillers. Comparing this to Rockarola, it's a light years ahead. Highlights will be Genocide and Ripper. For me, this is From Here to Eternity release. Sin After Sin followed in 1977. Okay, for me personally, this one is a step down from Sad Wings of Destiny. It's heavier, it's darker, it has got fast drumming, more aggressive riffs, but also it contains some really slow songs for some reason. The production is stronger than before. The songwriting remains consistently high. As stated, a few filler songs here and there. Highlights from me will be Sinner and Starbreaker. Fortunately, this one comes down to a C tier. 1978, we see the release of two albums. First one is Stained Glass. This one is an amazing heavy metal album, period. Every song is packed with some fantastic riffs, memorable melodies, outstanding performances. We have got dark atmosphere and sharper songwriting. This one makes one of Judas Priest's defining releases. Comparing this to Sin After Sin, it's more refined and heavier. Highlights for me will be Saints in Hell and Exciter. For me, this is a solid A tier release. Killing Machine or Hellbent for Leather, depending where you buy this record. Priest added more catchy hooks here. We have got some shorter songs without losing their heaviness. The leather and the stance image also takes part in the band's identity during this period. A couple of tracks are slightly less memorable, a couple of filler tracks here and there, but the overall quality remains excellent. It's more accessible than Stained Glass, but not as good as Stained Glass. Highlights from me will be Hellbent for Leather and Delivering the Goods. I'm just gonna put it on a B tier for now. British Steel came in 1980. This album is the album that made Judas Priest worldwide stars. Simpler songwriting, huge choruses, and unforgettable riffs that helped create one of the most influential metal albums ever. While a few deeper cuts aren't as strong as the singles, the classics easily overweight the weaker moments. Highlights for me will be Rapid Fire and Grinder. I'm just going to put it on a B tier, and you guys can kill me on the comments. Point of Entry came out in 1981. This one is often considered as Judas Priest's weaker album, or one of the weakest albums on their entire catalogue. The band aimed for a more straightforward hard rock sound, but several songs lack the power and memorable hooks than we all expected. There are still some handful of enjoyable tracks here and there, but the album feels quite uneven. Highlights for me will be Desert Plains and Hot Rockin'. For me, this goes to a D tier, and it's better than Rock'n'Rolla. 1982, Why Come Back, Screaming for Vengeance, a near perfect heavy metal album. The songwriting is absolutely brilliant, the production is powerful, and Rob Halford delivers one of his finest vocal performances. It successfully combines melody, speed, aggression better than almost any album on that decade. Comparing this to British Steel, it's heavier, more consistent, and better. Highlights for me will be Devil's Child and Bloodstone. For me, this is a solid From Here to Eternity release. How do you follow an instant classic? How about releasing another instant classic? 1984, Defenders of the Faith, another classic album. It follows the formula of Screaming for Vengeance. In areas, it sounds slightly heavier. The guitar work is outstanding. The album contains some of the band's greatest deep cuts. A few songs aren't quite as memorable, but the overall quality is exceptionally amazing. Highlights for me will be Eat Me Alive and Jawbreaker. It is a From Here to Eternity release, but I don't know if it is better than Screaming or less perfect. I'm just gonna put it right here. It's just slightly below Screaming. Turbo came out in 1986. One of the bands released that divided the fans. Some fans love it, some other fans don't really love it at all. The band here tried to use synthesizers and more commercial sound. The songwriting is quite strong. The production sounds slightly dated today, but the album contains several excellent songs. Comparing this to Screaming for Vengeance and Defenders of Faith is more melodic and more commercial, and the band here slightly dropped the heavy metal speed, let's put it that way. I quite enjoy it. I tend to reach out for it quite often. Highlights for me will be Locked In and Out in the Cold. This one drops down to a B tier. Ram It Down came out in 1988. This one is a mixed album. It tries to combine the commercial approach of Turbo with heavier material. Some songs are excellent, but others feel rushed and undeveloped. The production is solid throughout, and it lacks actually consistency. The other thing is the drums sound really badly like a drum machine, and I believe it is a drum machine. Comparing this to Turbo, this one's heavier than Turbo but more uneven. Highlights for me will be Hard as Iron and Blood Red Skies. For me, this drops down to a C tier. 1990, we see Painkiller, an absolute masterpiece and one of the greatest heavy metal albums ever recorded. Everything is turned up to maximum speed, power, and aggression. Scott Travis performs the band's sound and the characteristic drum intro in Painkiller. Rob Halford delivers one of his best vocal performances in metal history. Here there is no filler from start to finish, just pure Judas Priest aggression. Highlights, I would say the entire album, but I'll choose Leather Rebel and Between the Hammer and the Anvil. For me, this is A From Here to Eternity, and it's just gonna go here. 1997, we see Jagulator, the first album with Tim Ripper Owens on vocals. Judas Priest here adopted a much darker and heavier sound, influenced by the groove metal that was going on at that point. While the performances are excellent, the songwriting is also great. The album feels slightly long. Songs are great. I believe this is a huge underrated album. Actually pay attention to Tim Ripper's Owens vocal performances as he manages to incorporate different styles of vocals in the entire album. Highlights for me will be Dead Meat and Abductors. For me, this is a solid A-tier release. I cannot say the same for 2001's Demolition. This is one of the weakest Judas Priest releases. It doesn't contain a lot of strong songs here. The material feels unfocused. It lacks memorable hooks. The guitars are extremely down-tuned, and it doesn't allow Ripper to provide his usual top performance. The highlights for me will be Hell is Home and In Between, and also what's with all the weird sound effects at the start of its song. I'm not too sure. Anyway, so this one is getting the bin tier, unfortunately. Angel of Retribution came in 2005. We've got Rob back on vocals, and basically we've got the classic Judas Priest lineup here. The band sounds refreshed, and the songwriting it's much stronger than the previous album, Demolition. The second half of the album slightly loses momentum, a few filler tracks. It's a good comeback album. Production, as stated, is like really good. Highlights from me will be Hellrider and Judas Rising. I'm just gonna put it down on a B tier. I'm just gonna put it here. Nostradamus came in 2008. This is an ambitious double concept album that divided fans. The atmosphere is excellent. There are some great musical ideas, but the album feels extremely too long. Some song feels repetitive. I believe that this album would have needed like a lot of trimming down, a lot of editing, just to feel stronger. I'm just gonna pick out one highlight song here, which is Nostradamus, which kind of feels like a Judas Priest song. For me, this is getting the bin tier, and it's worse than Demolition. Redeemer of Souls came out in 2014. It's a solid return back to the classic heavy metal Judas Priest sound. The songwriting is good, although the production sounds good. Some of the songs lack clarity. There's a lot of filler songs here and there, and it just I believe some tracks overcome their stay, to be honest. Highlights from it will be the amazing Halls of Valhalla and Dragonaut. I'm just gonna drop it down to a C tier, this album. Firepower came out in 2018, one of the greatest comeback albums in heavy metal history. The production is huge, the riffs are fantastic, and the songwriting is consistently strong. It proves that Judas Priest is a great band, and they just seem to amaze their fans. As so late into their career they managed to release a fantastic album. Highlights for me will be Firepower and Never the Heroes. For me, this is a solid A tier release. I'm just going to put it right here. Invisible Shield followed in 2024. Again, it's an outstanding late career album release that continues the momentum of Firepower. Richie Faulkner and Andy Sneap help to give the band the fresh energy, while Rob Halford still sounds incredibly amazing. A couple of songs could have been trimmed, but the overall quality is remarkably high for a band that is 50 years into their career. Highlights from me will be Gates of Hell and Panic Attack. For me, this is another solid A tier release. There you have it, the entire Judas Priest discography, ranked from Get in the Bin all the way up to From Here to Eternity. Till next time, stay metal.